I would love to be able to have that craft land and come down and just, let me come aboard and walk around a little bit. But I mean, they haven't taken me up. As close as I came was, you'll appreciate this. I was the night water boy on a golf course, and I was watering all night long in the dark. And suddenly I'm out on a distant part of the golf course where there's absolutely nobody around, and I was completely lit up. The whole area around me was in a bright light. And I thought, what is this? They're coming to get me now.
You've been following this for a long time, and I assume that you'd love to have a legitimate experience with an ISO, with a UFO. One, what's the most interesting experience you have had, and what would be on your wish list for an experience?
Okay, well, let me share with you my aha moment that there was like something that's way more than you could imagine, right?
Okay.
So you see that field behind you, right? Where we're sitting at, right? Okay, imagine that that's a wheat field and that a farmer had sightings the night before, and there were UFO reports around that whole area. And he gets up in the morning, he looks out the window in his farm, and he sees in the middle of the field, he sees a 70-foot area where there's no wheat, and it's in a perfect circle. And then imagine that he goes down and looks in the field, and and when we came over, we found there's no roots of the wheat left. There's no wheat. It's all gone. It's baked down. I mean, the soil's been baked down to 2 feet in the middle. And as you progressively get out from there, you start to look and you see a little bit of roots that maybe show on the outer perimeter. And then you see little stubbles of wheat that are popping up above the ground, but the rest of it's all gone. And then you see around the perimeter like a rotating pattern of the wheat. And then you see puffed wheat around the outer perimeter, 70-foot in diameter. Okay. And then you measure microwave radiation. And you're going to yourself, okay, what could have sat down in the middle of a career in that field? And when you're walking out there, you're leaving a trail that you walked out into it, and you don't see any trails of bringing in heavy equipment to go bake the soil. You don't see anything like that, right? So when you stand in the middle of that little area and you see that, your head shakes, and you go, aha, there is something more to this phenomenon, right? That was my aha moment, right? Okay. So the fact that I haven't seen one of these things, it has been, that was my aha moment. Okay. So there's something there, and I can't explain it. And nobody else has been able to explain how you could even do that. So that was convincing to me that I needed to spend more time with this. And that's what I did. And,
Okay,
and
where
so,
was that? When and where was that? So that's a real experience you had. When and where was that?
well, that was in 73 in Carrollton, Ohio. And so Carrollton, Ohio, and I was just, it was up the road ways or something like that to get to it. And there was a team of us that were doing that. And so that was pretty doggone exciting, in terms of just this whole phenomena. And then, couple that with the fact that now I'm coming back and I'm invited to give a presentation in the area where Foreign Technology Division is at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where the home of Project Blue Book was. And now I'm up speaking to these scientists that were actually studying that. And I'm in with about 35 to maybe 40 of them in a room. They had a meeting and they invited me in. I did my presentation. And I asked them, I said, well, how many in this room have actually had a sighting or experienced something with this? And I think maybe one nervous hand went up. But when the break came up and afterward, I was pummeled with people walking up and telling me this stuff. And I had this one guy that came up, and I remember he said, my job was to chase UFOs with a camera on the front of that aircraft. And I would get as close as I could to getting these videos, and I would come down and they would take the cameras off of the craft, and I had to go over and sign like I wouldn't disclose squat about any of this stuff that I did, right? So, I mean, that, for me, that was like when I was like another aha moment. Wow, they can't even talk about it, but yet they can privately, and it was just really wild.
Okay.
And then, I would be doing UFO cases in Ohio and investigating them. And I would have a blue book officer sitting next to me, and he's doing the same thing, same case. And so we would compare notes, and eventually I was able to get a hold of, like they even gave me the telephone number for radar approach control at the airport, so that if I'm out doing a case and I need to get some confirmation about what's in the area, I can call the number to do that. And so that was kind of like my experience, which a lot of people haven't had that one, but I have. And so it's been really, really an interesting life for me.
Would you ever like to come face to face with a real live extraterrestrial?
Oh, I'd love it. Yeah, I would absolutely love it. I would love to be able to have that craft land and come down and just, let me come aboard and walk around a little bit. But I mean, they haven't taken me up. As close as I came was, you'll appreciate this. I was the night water boy on a golf course, and I was watering all night long in the dark. And suddenly I'm out on a distant part of the golf course where there's absolutely nobody around, and I was completely lit up. The whole area around me was in a bright light. And I thought, what is this? They're coming to get me now. And you know what it was? A police helicopter was beaming a light down on me. They had night vision, and they were like having fun with me. So they beamed the light down on me, and I'm going like, dang, I heard the rotors, and I thought, oh man. And so that was my almost like, yes, they're here and take me.
What would be your first question? What would be your first question to ask if you came? No, not if, when. Before you leave this earth, when you come face to face with an ET, an extraterrestrial being, what would be your first question, Rich?
Well, it's like, why are you here and not talking with us? I mean, come on. I mean, what is your purpose for coming here? I mean, is it just because you want to see the zoo animals? Are we like, we are like animals. I mean, my God, you're certainly not intelligent life on the planet. I mean, come on, you just look at the nightly news. But anyway, it's like, what is your purpose? Why are you here? And why are you not talking with us? And so I think that's would be ultimately my, my first set of questions. And so take it from there. I mean, all kinds of questions can follow depending upon the answer you get.